we found this video, which is kind of interesting. This is from back in June. This is while they were trying to figure out if this bill would get passed. Here is a woman who transitioned as a teen, who is now a detransitioner. And there's an awful lot of these people. You're not going to see them on mainstream media because obviously it goes completely against the narrative. But just the idea that you're a 15-year-old girl who can take a certain amount of drugs, maybe visually appear as a boy, you suddenly may find that as a 23-year-old man, your problems still exist. And now you have a whole slew of other medical problems and financial problems and spiritual problems and much more. In any event, here is a woman who transitioned as a teen testifying against this bill because she has now detransitioned.
My name is Chloe Cole, and I am a 17-year-old detransitioner from the Central Valley. I was medically transitioned from ages 13 to 16. My parents took me to a therapist who affirmed my male identity, and the therapist did not care about causality or encourage me to learn to be comfortable in my body. He brushed off my parents' concerns about the efficacy of hormones, puberty blockers, and surgeries. My parents were given the threat of suicide as a reason to move me forward in my transition. My endocrinologist, after 2 to 3 appointments, put me on puberty blockers and injectable testosterone. At age 15, I asked to remove my breasts. My therapist continued to affirm my transition. I attended a top surgery class that was filled with around 12 girls that thought they were men. Most were my age or younger. None of us were going to be men. We were fleeing from the uncomfortable feeling of becoming women. I was unknowingly physically cutting off my true self from my body, irreversibly and painfully. Our trans identities were not questioned. I went through with surgery. Despite having therapists and attending the top surgery class, I really didn't understand all of the ramifications of any of the medical decisions I was making. I wasn't capable of understanding, and it was downplayed consistently. My parents, on the other hand, were pressured to continue my so-called gender journey with a suicide threat. I will never be able to breastfeed a child. I have blood clots in my urine. I am unable to fully empty my bladder. I do not yet know if I am capable of carrying a child to full term. In fact, even the doctors who put me on puberty blockers and testosterone do not know. SB 107 is circumventing states' laws that have needed safeguards in place so my story is not repeated. Children cannot consent. Vote no on SB 107.
Thank you.
You really must understand, this is a girl, that is a biological girl who then, once she had some feelings around puberty and, as she said, becoming a woman, they decided to, well, they were going to take her breasts off and drug her and all of these other things. Now she wants out of all of that, having realized that it was either a phase or whatever it might be. And that is not to ignore the 0.000 whatever it is, 1% of people that genuinely are in the wrong body. And then, of course, you guys know at least my feelings on this. As an adult, you can do whatever you want. But California as a state wants to be able to take children away from their parents, wants to be able to mutilate children. That's what California wants to do. But this woke policy is not specific, unfortunately, to California, but it is now infecting virtually every level of our federal government and pretty much all of our national leaders. Joe Biden is exactly the same. You may remember before Joe Biden was president, when he was running, when he said, if you're a chick and you're going to jail, or you're a dude and you're going to jail, it's not what's on your birth certificate that matters to decide whether you're going to a male or female prison. It's what you identify as. And then, you know, you're not going to believe this. Suddenly a big ass 300-pound giant dude is like, yeah, call me Mary. And then he's raping women in women's prisons. That's really what we're dealing with right now. It's just so bananas ridiculous.